Now I remember when I was in high school, I had this teacher. He's Mr. Osborne. Sometimes he remind me of Ozzy Osbourne. Riding off the rails of the crazy train. He was his programming stuff. He's like, hey, can you write this program? And I was like, yeah. And so he tell the class, write the Windows calculator. Back then they had this small programming language, and it's like, this is the stuff here, this stuff there. It took him a couple days to figure it out, man. It took me like 5 or 10 minutes. And it was cool, they had these gifted and talented education classes up north, but they didn't really have that stuff down south. So so I was hanging out with some of the NASA people, from the National Aeronautics Space Association, over there at NASA, where they got their shuttles and rockets and stuff, for all the space people, like outer space people, I guess. So I go over there and I'm like, and it's like, I can't believe you did that in 10 minutes. That's not the way we want you to program it, so you're gonna have to do it this way. He didn't like it that much. When I took the book he was teaching from, and I opened it up and I said, hey, look, it says every program I developed their own style. I mean, tell me, you type a program in and it works. But that's not the way I'm teaching it. I says, I don't care what you're teaching it. You teach it from this book. The book say you teach it this way. So if you want to teach it this way, you teach it this way. If you want to teach it that way, teach it that way. But if I type it in, it works. And you got to do it. Or you give me an A. So I said, sorry. So anyway, so that teacher, he went to school like over the summer and took a summer course at the college. Never did programming before in his life, and then he's in the school, he's teaching it, right? Me, I'm like, man, I remember when I was a kid, before I went to those gifted classes, I had a little Trash 80 or Commodore 64. I learned programming in like a day, I'm like, man, a day, man, like basic programming. And I look at his visual stuff, I'm like, I don't even need the visual stuff. So I was like, okay, let's show him how to do Visual Basic then. And like, well, it's C++, or C++, or how about, some Java or some HTTP, Hyper Transfer Text Protocols, Hyper Transfer Text Protocols, for all those kids with like advanced, hyperactivity, diplomatic, I guess they call us deficient because we're faster than most people, so, ADHD, advanced hyperactive, diplomatic, I guess you call it American diplomatic, hyper diplomacy, hypertext transfer protocol. So I guess we read books faster than most people do. So anyways, all right, so so I go and I learn like 3 or 4 different languages, over like I don't know, like 3 or 4 weeks. It took me 3 or 4 weeks to learn these other languages. And the teachers, they take like a whole summer course, and then they try to teach it in the school the next year, and I'm like, so I go in there and I'm like, here you go, 10 minutes, man. And they're like, they didn't even teach this stuff yet. You got to go to college to learn that. And they're trying to teach it in high school because they got the gifted kid there, so I'm like, but the high school, man, they're cutting each other with razor blades and acting crazy and shit. Like, I don't want to be around that stuff. So I left, and I'll come back, they're still being crazy. So I got on a boat like Jesus and started sailing around, and then like, oh, Jesus story, So yeah, it's crazy like that, So I'm like, So then we get together, open source projects, and we're like, okay, well, maybe I'll just sit in his home and do some stuff for us and everybody leave him alone. So I'm like, all right. So I sit in my home and I start working on artificial intelligence, and I want to get into like, some programming language, some X10 controllers, X10 controllers, you talk and it does the stuff, Dragon Knuckles speaking, and then they launch the Dragon rockets like, hey, we're sorry about what we did, man, can you come home and help us with some stuff? I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe. So Dragon Knuckles speaking, voice text and stuff, and controlling the stuff in the home and getting this thing with voice automation, like Star Trek stuff, Captain Kirk, So as we send our Homeland, Department of Homeland Security to the house, like, hey man, what you doing, man? You try to get illegal aliens over here or something, man? I mean, open up dimensional portals, or what are you doing, man? I'm like, I'm just trying to do some stuff for the disabled people, help out, I went to work for this one computer, put the stuff into action, So I go out in the middle of the Palm Bay, and there's this disabled kid, he's like a bedridden man. He's stuck in a bed. He can't do anything, He's got this special wheelchair and all this stuff, and so. Computer work back then was like, something asinine, like $200 an hour, $150 an hour just for some stupid support, and I'm like, and the family, got all these health problems with the kid. They couldn't afford medical care or, any kind of like health care for the kid. So, so I stay there, I said charge them for an hour, I stay there like all day, and I get all the stuff set up for them, and I like show the family how to use the stuff. They didn't know much about technology, so I tell them how to use this stuff and do this and that, and kind of network through like family little program to help with their kid and stuff and all this other stuff. And then I get back to, the computer component, and they said, man, I can't believe you stood out there and did all that stuff, and you only charge them for an hour. I says, well, clock me out. I says, I want no pay, I say, act like I didn't even show up to work. They charge them for an hour, and no pay for me today. I didn't even show up. Whole day's free. So the employer, he got a free day, and they got, an hour of service for an entire day, like a half a day of work to get their stuff they needed because they didn't have proper health care and stuff, So, universal healthcare system, man. We're really trying to get that thing fired up, So, they give you a little bit of stuff. So everybody liked the music and the videos and stuff. So we had bear share, in Tennessee mountains, the Cherokee and Indians, Smokey the Bear. Don't start forest fires, and Smokey the Bear. So we had bear share. Everybody download music and stuff, trying to get a little more education and inspiration. So, it's a little thing in there, and it says, hey, do you mind if we use some of your processing power on your computer so we could do some stuff? And most people said, sure, yeah, I'm giving free music to you, man. And well, we had a Linux problem, and trying to network all the computers together to get a bigger brain, and get a bigger picture, like, helping out with the universe and stuff. So, we networked the processing power of every computer on the planet that has bear share on it, to use that processing power to do computations and stuff. And then we started making, like, dual core processors, quad core processors, and then the dual quad core processors, number 8, get it? Infinity for the squids, the Navy squids, man, the water in the waters, We're really starting to freak people out now, right? So anyways, so that's a little bit about how the, angel and aliens, man. It's kind of how our brains work, try to help people and stuff, We're not really evil people or crazy people. We're just, we're just fifth dimensional thinking, like the 5 books of the Bible kind of thing. Right? Oh, there you go.